Welcome back to EBRU Africa. This morning I am Charity Shkini. It is the 10th of June 2014, and on this edition of Business Insight, we focus on business across Africa, focusing majorly on e-commerce. And to speak this, we have on studio with us today the CEO of Jumia, Ms. Parinaz. Firozi. Have I said it right?
You did.
Very
impressed. Thank you for having me here on the show with you.
Thank you for coming.
Of course.
Let's first begin with currently, how is the e-commerce across Africa?
Sure. So Africa is a very promising continent. It is the world's second largest continent, and it is the second most populous continent. And what we're seeing broadly in the African continent is this emergence of the middle class. So the middle class is growing, it's urbanizing, and now it's demanding products that you will not necessarily be able to find within the respective countries in Africa. So what this means is a huge uptake that we've seen recently in the last 2 years since we've launched Jumia in the e-commerce side. So Jumia is an online retailer, and we're currently present in 6 different countries. And Kenya was the 4th country to launch. And given these different dynamics, we've seen e-commerce grow, our platform specifically, on a double-digit scale month to month since inception. So we really do believe that there's a lot of growth, a lot of potential in the e-commerce region in the African continent.
So we're looking at a future where we'll be boosting e-commerce, we'll be boosting African economies.
Exactly. So currently, if you look at Europe, e-commerce accounts for 15% of the retail market in Europe. However, in Africa, we're expecting e-commerce to actually account for 40, 50, 60%. So it's going to be huge. And we really believe that e-commerce will be the new driver of the retail industry. So Jumia, we already are the #1 online retailer, but our goal is not just to be the online retailer, it's to be the #1 retailer because it's going to be such a big share, because e-commerce will be such a big share of the retail market.
All right. I think I want to throw this question to you. Looking back maybe in developed countries and economies such as the US and Europe, we had the late 1990s, early 2000s, we had the cropping up of sites such as eBay, Amazon. 10 years down the line, we're actually getting a grasp of what e-commerce is. Jumia is doing fantastic at this. Why has it taken such a long time for Africa to be able to join the e-commerce market?
So Africa has been a great innovator in its own way for different e-commerce, for different technological platforms. Like we have M-Pesa here in Kenya, which is something that's very new. It's something that's never been done before. However, I do agree where when it comes to the e-commerce and the e-tail platforms, it hasn't been that quick to adopt. And there's several factors behind it. So one has been the lack of the middle class historically. So like I said, the middle class is now growing. So now we're seeing an increase in internet penetration. So for example, in Kenya, we have close to half of the population that's using the internet. People are used to using their phones. So this emergence of the middle class and technology that's going with the middle class, we're seeing e-commerce basically emerge. So Jumia is the same model as Amazon, so it's very similar. And what we do, so another one of the challenges that we have, why we haven't seen e-commerce in the past in different countries in Africa, is also because of the lack of trust. So people haven't really trusted this online platform where they've been scammed in the past. So when we launched 2 years ago, what we've done is we've provided our customers with a way to trust us, and how we do that is cash on delivery. So if you order something and you're skeptical about it, you don't want to make a payment online, that's completely okay. We'll come to your doorstep, you look at the item, and then you can pay for it once you've actually validated it.
But also that point just similarly ties into some of the challenges I believe an e-commerce business will be facing across Africa.
Exactly. So the 2 big challenges, one is what I've talked about, which is the trust issues that we face with the customers, and the second is the logistics. So for example, in Kenya, there's really no proper addresses. So it's very, very challenging to go out there and make deliveries, and we make deliveries to anywhere you want. It is to your home, to your office, to the beach where you're vacationing, wherever you want. So what we've done in the last 2 years is really be the pioneers in developing this logistics platform, where now we have our own delivery fleet. We work with third-party logistic companies to make sure we're able to deliver with to the customer wherever they are. And we do this with the help of also our customer service. So we'll have customer service basically making a phone call and verifying where your address is, what's the best way to get there. So we have this logistics platform which has helped us overcome one of the biggest obstacles that we find in Africa, where it's just tough to deliver. And also it's, the countries are very big. Like I said, the continent is the 2nd largest in the world. So the cities are very dispersed, they're not necessarily always dense. markets. So these are challenges that we've looked to overcome, and the future for e-commerce, like I said, is very, very bright for this continent.
Yeah, true that. I'd like to put it in a way, maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong, but talking of logistics, definitely we have addresses, but our addresses are not like developed countries where it's outside your home and when you're living somewhere, it's like more so a permanent residence, as opposed to here, we shift in and out of where we stay. So we have now the how do I put it? The mailbox services is a post office, literally a post office with different boxes for different numbers. In a way, if we had international companies and Africans and governments to invest in just e-commerce business, we would have begun e-commerce a long time ago. Because if Jumia is doing it, and I know, I think I've read it, you're growing with double digits every month. So I think it's somehow we are not adopting it. Do you think public-private partnership will enable Africa go into the future?
Absolutely. So I think there needs to be many different factors in place. So one is having the right platforms to basically gain the trust of the customers. The second is public-private partnerships within the country in order to actually enforce, in order to support some of this trade, some of this growth.
Yeah.
And we're seeing a huge influx of funding, of international funding, of local funding. If you look at Kenya itself, we have several incubators, we have several private investors that are now entering the country that are looking to invest in entrepreneurs and innovations. So definitely needed public-private partnerships and funding, and we're on the track.
So at least we are investing in institutions.
We are, but it can definitely be more. So
much better.
Jumia itself, we are funded by telecom providers. So Millicom and MTN are investors, and that's really helped us, be able to go and scale up in the African continent.
Yeah.
So we do need continued support and continued funding.
Yeah. We speak of Kenya being the technology hub of East Africa, but I think I can't put my eye off West Africa and in particularly Nigeria, where the population and the growth, the rise in business, not only just e-commerce, but the regular business, the entrepreneur has been encouraged to pick up business as a way of getting something for their livelihoods, being the breadwinners. So looking at Kenya, I know Nigeria is really growing up very fast, and I'm just wondering how can Kenya position herself to ensure that she gets the slice of the African market and still maintains her position in the market?
So Kenya and Nigeria are very different beasts, like we touched upon. So Nigeria is 4 times the population of Kenya, but Kenya itself is a very unique country, and it's a great platform. So one, it is a technological hub of East Africa, and if you actually look at the internet penetration rate here in Kenya itself, it's close to half of the population that actually uses the internet, and this is one of the highest penetration rates that we'll find anywhere across the continent. So we have the right ingredients in place, but now it's just a matter of trying to shift the mindset of the general consumer to be more trustworthy and to try e-commerce, and we're providing them with all the tools that we potentially can.
Yes.
And second is funding. Like I've said, Kenya has seen many investors coming in, mid-size, small-size, large-size funds that are coming in looking for entrepreneurs, looking for innovations in the in this country. So it's already, we have M-Pesa, people are used to using the phone, so we already have people that are more tech savvy, but now it's about changing the mindset and continue to invest in these innovations and in entrepreneurs in Kenya.
Nice point. I was speaking to Jasper Grufkopf for Research Solutions Africa, and he touched on something that really I thought was quite interesting, just what you've just said here, and if I may highlight. You're speaking about what is happening in Africa, or rather, let me talk about Kenya in specific. We're having people use the internet as, or rather, view the internet as a part of the tech-savvy community, yet we need to put the tech-savvy community in check with a business model. So in a way, like the way he was telling me, in Nigeria, we're having businessmen work together with tech-savvy people to increase the e-commerce in Nigeria. But here in Kenya, it's all about having an iLab, where the tech people teach you how to do it, but there's no business angle to it. There's no that long-term goal where we're having a businessman says, I'm putting my money here, I want 10 years down the line, I'm making profits. Do you think that is affecting Kenya as well?
I think it has a small effect on Kenya, but we're seeing a shift in this mindset as well. So as we're seeing new investors come in, they're now basically investing in patient capital. So they don't want their investments necessarily to be turned around in the next 2 or 3 years.
Yes.
It's patient capital. So they'll be able to invest in you, work with you, develop you for a 5 to 8 year horizon. And what this is going to do, because it's slower to take off, but it can have a really high reward at the end of it. We're now able to properly enable the entrepreneurs to realize the full growth in that 5 to 8 year period. And I think that really helps us having that private investment with patient capital.
So there is future in the African market?
Absolutely. I'm a strong believer believer in Kenya,
In
especially.
Kenya,
Yes.
but also Jumia is a strong believer in the African market.
Absolutely. So Jumia is currently in six different countries, and we're looking to ramp up, quite fast in the coming years. And like I've said, since we've launched 2 years ago, we first started in Morocco, followed by Egypt, Nigeria, and now Kenya, Ivory Coast, and Uganda. And these ventures have been realizing double-digit growth since inception. So it's been very positive, and we look forward to continue to grow into the future. And we have, a few initiatives to do so. For one, we've launched Marketplace, which basically allows entrepreneurs throughout the different countries, in Kenya specifically with the Jumia venture, or if you've always wanted to have an online store. And this is another way of basically promoting and growing e-commerce.
Yes.
But you don't have the resources. It's very expensive to get a graphic designer to build your own online store, to spend marketing. So what we do is we provide a platform for these entrepreneurs to sell their products through our website to the consumer. And we do what we're best at, which is making sure we deliver the goods to the customer and giving you customer service to the customer, as well as providing marketing. We have the funds to go ahead and do marketing. And then the entrepreneurs and the different SMEs can basically bring in their products and place it online through our marketplace platform. So this is also going to help us really grow.
So in a way, we are getting rid of the cost for storage, the cost for advertising, and leaving someone to still be employed and not worry about it.
And what this means for the entrepreneurs is additional sales. They're not just going to be limited to the people that are coming by their shop, but now we're getting visibility to our website
across Kenya.
Exactly across Kenya. And the second is, what this means for the consumer is now you have many more options. Right now we have 50,000 items on our website, but as we get more and more entrepreneurs on board, that number is going to double, triple. In no time, it's going to grow exponentially. So this is a win-win really for the entrepreneurs as well as for the consumers. And this is really going to help propel that growth of e-commerce in the Kenyan market.
Any other words before we wrap up?
Sure. I just wanted to talk about a last initiative that we currently have, that we launched late last year, that we're looking to continue to grow, which is our Salesforce team. So this means any students in college, any mothers, whoever it is, if you're looking to earn a commission, what you can do is come by, we'll train you, come by Jumia, we'll train you, we'll equip you with the right catalogs, the right equipment, whatever it takes for you to now go out and make sales and earn a commission. And again, what this means, it's retail outlets for the general public. So if you're not sure about how to shop online, what it entails, you can meet one of our entrepreneurs. And for the entrepreneurs, it means they're able to earn an extra income by providing, our consumers with the most competitive prices for 50,000 different items online. So
in a way, it's another step by Jumia to get personal with the consumer.
Exactly. Personal, and continue to really propel the growth of e-commerce, not just in Kenya, but in all the other 6 countries that we have.
Thank you for this discussion.
Of course. It was a pleasure.
Well, you've heard it first. If you're looking for employment, Jumia is one of the places to be. I'm Charity Chikene, and thank you for staying tuned to EBRU Africa this morning. Goodbye.